I have to admit, I am a bad podcast host and I haven't even looked at this.
You're fine because if you read it, it says Zach is going to share horror stories with us from the marketing world, and you just prepare to react. So he has once again given us zero like information. We have the cocktail, given us zero information on what's going on here. He has done some research. He's found some what he says are truly awful stories, and we have to react. So right here in the notes, it says no need for any real prep because we
Well,
love it when
thank
Zach
God.
surprises us. So you're good.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was so nervous that I was gonna have to have horror stories of my own, and I was like, I don't think I can talk about that stuff.
I was too, and so I well certainly not with any current clients.
That was my fear. I was like, oh my
They're
God.
all lovely. We love you all. You're
Correct.
wonderful. You don't ever
Exactly.
challenge us in bad ways.
Yeah.
So I was in the same situation and terrified. So I opened it this morning and got to the paragraph that says no need for any prep, and I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Just don't do anything. Show up. Be charming.
I've been doing this for I think it's like 27 years now. I've been doing marketing, so I've got some stories. But I am less interested in telling those because who knows who's listening.
I was like, we can't do this. The names have been changed to protect the innocent or whatever. Like that wouldn't even apply.
And my really good horror story about Aretha Franklin, you have to buy me drinks to hear that one. So that does not go on the podcast, but may she rest in peace. Of course, she was,
the Queen of Soul.
Wonderful, yes, the Queen of Soul, a wonderful, wonderful singer. She was also a diva beyond divas when you worked with her professionally. So we'll just leave it at that.
Wasn't there some like contract negotiation disputes or something?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, I think I bought you drinks and heard
you
this
did buy me
story.
you might have actually just had
pried
me over
you
for drinks,
with alcohol, right?
at your house.
Yeah.
I think the in-home bartender got me rolling. So speaking of bartenders, before we let Zach share these horror stories, we've got a horrific cocktail in my mind, a Bloody Mary.
Oh, you don't like Bloody Marys?
I don't like tomato juice. I love tomatoes. I do not like tomato juice.
Interesting.
It's just a weird thing.
I don't like tomato juice either, but I love a good Bloody Mary.
I've tried, but tomato juice makes me gag, so I just can't.
So just don't. Yeah.
No, I don't.
I wonder. Yeah. What are your other options if it's not a Bloody Mary? What are your other choices? You just like head straight to a mimosa?
I mean, I could do a mimosa. I can do a Bellini. I could just do vodka on the rocks. I mean, rosé
with a pickle garnish.
I could do see. I love everything about the Bloody Mary, like all the extra stuff that comes with it, except the tomato juice.
Yeah.
This is a super traditional.
Yeah.
Like this is the original from Harry's bar, or Harry's New York bar in Paris, where Americans went. So this is like. Gosh, Zach, this is crazy. Humphrey Bogart, Ernest Hemingway, Rita Hayworth. They all went to that bar. They probably drank this exact same original recipe. And it is simple.
Yeah.
It's not overly complex.
And also like stuff you probably have in your fridge.
Right.
Can I tell you a funny thing about Ernest Hemingway is like, one of the great American writers. Mm-hmm. And Tyrell, my in-home bartender / husband, he says he majored in reading and talking, but the English and theater, right? And so he's like a true Renaissance man. And I remember one time he was like, I was reading some Hemingway. So for Christmas one year, I bought him the complete works of Ernest Hemingway. And then I was like, the next year or 2 years later, I was like really scrambling for a gift idea. And I forgot that I had already bought him the complete works of Ernest Hemingway. So I bought him the exact same book like 2 years in a row.
Oh, no. Was he gracious about it? Or
He's like, you got me this? And I was like, I did, didn't I? And I like looked up and there it was on the bookshelf. No, and it's a hefty, and like, it's not a small book. It's a hefty.
Well, because he didn't just write like one little novelette.
Right.
Like
novella.
He's got some work.
Yeah. So
this Bloody Mary,
if anybody needs a spare copy of the complete works of Ernest Hemingway, I got you.
Perfect. When I see Humphrey Bogart and Ernest Hemingway together, I go to Ernest Borgnine because I take the B from Bogart and that's where my brain goes.
I don't even know who that is.
He's an actor. I'm pretty sure he's an actor.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I go to is like communists, because isn't that like they all expatriated to because they didn't want to be
were artsy and the McCarthy hearings and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So like see ya. Except
communist, not communist.
Yeah.
So they would have this non-communist, very French/American Bloody Mary. So
yeah,
you grab your shaker, Caitlin. You throw some ice in it, presumably however much ice you feel like you want.
None.
3 dashes of lemon juice. Say it with me.
Fresh squeezed only. I was just trying to think of how many that would be in ounces. Like probably a quarter of an ounce.
It's really small, yeah. I think I would probably do just like 1 quick squeeze of it.
Yeah.
A dash of Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire sauce, depending on how you say it. But I think it's Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire pronounced it. Some salt to your tasting. Cayenne pepper to your tasting. 1 jigger of vodka. And then fill the rest of it with tomato juice to presumably put in a normal-sized tumbler. Shake well. Strain into a large tumbler, which I would guess would be like a 16-ounce maybe?
Probably, 12 ounce. Probably 12 ounce.
Like the normal
bar glass.
So not a bunch of craziness in this, but it is a little. The original is spicy. That's interesting because whenever you order a Bloody Mary, you have to specify spicy. However, if you were at Harry's New York bar in Paris in 1921, it would come
spicy.
It would be spicy whether you asked for it or not.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah, and then we get to additional research NA on our notes sheet. So thank you, Zach. That was lovely.
No additional research.
I do, so I may take this home and we may try this.
Yeah.
Because my husband Brian can't have.
I know, it was the celery salt. Yeah.
And almost every pre-made Bloody Mary mix has celery salt in it. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It's crazy. We found a couple of places. So Railcar, they make their own. And if you give them a little, like, if you're patient, they'll whip up just 1 thing of it for you.
Version,
without the celery salt.
Does he like everything else except the allergen?
Oh yeah. I mean, and he even likes celery and celery salt. He just can't have it. Celery to me is a waste of chewing. It's just ridiculous.
I like it in like a chicken or a tuna salad.
Just the
celery,
crunch.
The crunch. Yeah, but like diced, little bits.
But what if I told you you could just add like chopped up fried wonton pieces and get your crunch? Doesn't that sound better?
I usually, like, by the time I'm making like a chicken or a tuna salad, I have like 4 stalks of celery in the fridge that are going to go bad. And I'm like, well, it's either feed this to the worm/compost pile or, use it for its intended purpose.
You can use the celery leaves and some of the stalks that you don't use that are just too thin or whatever, and like carrot tops and radish tops, and make a pesto out of them.
Pesto, or you could make your own stock, make your own vegetable stock.
You could make your own vegetable stock. Yes, no chickens required.
So many things we could do with our kitchen scraps.
I know.
If I was a better, if I wasn't like working and raising a small child, and then like also and
yeah, we really want to compost, but the dogs complicate that because we've got to have the ability to shield the dogs from it.
There was like a reasonably priced bin at
we've
one
looked
of our
at
garden
a couple
supply stores. Yeah,
so with our new yard we'll probably get into that. All right, Zach looks like he's getting antsy, so maybe we should do a dance break, let him dance this one out, and then
excited.
He'll be back on the episode because we have no idea what we're talking about. Only
I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time.
We're back with Zach.
Hello.
Hello. Our behind the scenes comes in front of the microphone.
Seems like that's been happening a lot more lately.
It's almost like you like us.
Yeah, you were a guest recently, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the flexible work episode.
Yeah, which, speaking of, you are now where?
I am in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right, which is not anywhere close to either of our offices, but
but here
you seem
you
to be
are
having
at work.
fun though, and we're glad to provide you with the flexibility to do that.
Yep, make sure to listen to that episode to learn more about our flexible work policy. But yeah, definitely enjoying it here.
All right.
We're ready.
From
what do you got
Charlotte,
for us?
North Carolina. Bring me a horror story.
All right, so these are just like genuinely like bad like marketing stories. This first one is client side, so it's from the client's perspective.
Ooh.
But there are also some agency side ones. These are all posted on forums anonymously, Reddit, Quora, things like that. So I'll just get right into it. You guys can kind of just give like a reaction to it, and we'll see how it goes. So my family owns a small local business run primarily by my dad, but my grandparents are still involved. They hired a marketing company almost 12 years ago that they still use. They charge about $1,200 a month for their services, ad spend included. Recently, my dad asked me to take a look at a new proposal the agency was offering. After a little digging, I found out they are currently running paid ads on Yellow Pages and DexKnows.com.
Well, that's why their services are only $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, you read that right. Paid ads on those sites. I looked into the ads and they have incorrect phone numbers and don't have the official business name listed properly. Instead, they have variations of the name. They use Thrive to fulfill the marketing services. It looks like Thrive is a marketing software and fulfillment services agencies can use or sell to their clients. They are partnered with Dex/Yellow Pages as Dex has rebranded to Thrive. I emailed the agency on my dad's behalf and asked about having access to the Google Analytics accounts so I could make sense of all of this.
Yeah, which is you're right. You should have access to your own analytics.
They respond by telling me that there's an issue on Google's behalf and they don't have access to any of the tracking for all of their clients. They are troubleshooting to see what happened. They also don't have client access so we could log into Thrive to take a look at the campaigns. Was told they would have to speak with an account manager first. Obviously, there are red flags everywhere on this one. I plan to have a meeting with everyone this week to get some answers. I wanted to vet about this experience with the community, which is R/marketing, and see if anyone had any advice on how I should move forward with the situation.
Fire them right away.
Yeah, goodbye.
Just, we're done. We're done.
Yeah, that's
pretty
bad.
I mean, at this point, I probably wouldn't even pay them for any like media that's out there. If like the ads don't even have your right phone number.
No.
Oh my god.
It just kept getting worse.
This is why we report to our clients.
Well, yeah.
And also like have regular check-ins. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've had some people who've come to us and are like, hey, like Google has my wrong address or my wrong phone number. Can you fix this? But usually it's just because they haven't done anything. Like they moved and didn't do anything and don't know how to fix it. I don't know if we've had one where an agency was just like that negligent.
And
like, I'm not a lawyer.
Well, they've had it
12
for 12 years.
12 years.
It's like set it and forget it. Does not apply.
And that agency is getting like $14,400 a year, which is not like that's 1,200 times 12, right? And so that's not terrible.
But
it's not a lot of money
too.
But they're not spending. They're spending like $250 on media, if that.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing is taking the Thrive service, and I've seen this before. They're taking this third-party service that's kind of a turnkey one-off. They're marking it up and doing absolutely nothing. So they're just getting paid to not do anything.
That's awful.
Yeah.
We would never do that.
No.
The Yellow Pages part is what gets me.
Yeah,
that's
I remember
hilarious.
How
old was this?
I think it was probably 2 or 3 years actually. It wasn't that bad.
But in was it 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, like we were spending on Yellow Pages as an agency like a ridiculous amount of money. It was like $1,000 a month or something. And I was just like, who is looking at this? And like, oh, it's all online now. I'm like, okay, then why are we paying for the book that everybody throws in their recycle bin the second it arrives? And so we got out of that, and then we ran a test with a test phone number, a trackable phone number, on their digital ads for 6 months. And guess how many calls we got? None. 0. No clicks whatsoever. So I was like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And they really had they're like, oh, okay, I guess we won't.
Like they were upset about it?
Well, I mean, they didn't really have any recourse, right? Like you've put tracking on something and nothing is happening. So you stop doing that thing.
That's oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Yellow Pages, Third party, small marketing budget for 12 years seems too good to be true, never goes up.
And like just like the wrong phone numbers too. Like it was literally
So
like
awful. So awful.
yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like a mom and pop business. I mean, it feels to me like it was maybe a restaurant. I don't know if they said that for sure, but
They didn't clarify,
that's
but
kind of where I was going. But still, like a small business, you need that
Mm-hmm.
information to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably not updating their hours for holidays or anything like that.
Oh gosh.
yeah, it's probably even more that was happening that was bad. But
So
this next story, oh
wait,
sorry.
he didn't do a follow up, like to come back and be like, "Hey,
I know.
like
What
I
is it? What's the
canned them, they
conclusion?
suck."
Well, I'll have to look into that. I didn't see any. I think
It's usually on the thread. There's an update.
yeah,
Right.
I think it was just like he commented on the thread and then there was like no I kind of scrolled it, but I'll have
Well-
to check back in to make sure.
I hope he fired them quickly.
We can only hope. This next one is from the agency's perspective, so kind of just like bad clients per se.
They don't. Bad clients don't exist. It's a fake thing.
True, true. It could be.
There are
I know.
good and bad on both sides of the equation. We all
That's-
know that.
Yep.
I have
Takes
been a
two
bad
to
client.
tango.
True,
I have
true.
been a bad client at points in my
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
I am reformed. So okay. So
Reformed. I'm
agency
not.
point of view on a client horror story. Go Zach.
I had one client who already had a difficult product to market. It was a medical product for a very personal / sensitive issue. We worked hard to find great ads to create in AdWords. Parentheses, I know it's Google Ads now, but it was AdWords at the time. Things were running smooth at first, but one night I went to check ad performance and saw almost all zeros across the board. Panic mode set in. Checked the good old change history and noticed an employee of our client went in and removed all of our ads and added their own. Ad performance was far worse than the ones we created in all metrics. When approaching the client with this, they expected us to redo the ads at no additional charge and blamed us for performance. This was even after it was agreed in the beginning they'd be hands-off in the account. Yes, for everyone wondering, we stopped working with that client pretty soon after.
And so it's
This
a
is
hard one to
ouchy.
explain.
I don't like it.
It's hard to explain to clients as well, though, but we get really, really clear that if you're going to be like, you want view access to it, absolutely. You can see everything that's going on in there. We can have conversations about it. We can talk about it. We're not hiding anything. But if you want to be able to make changes on the fly yourself,
What
then
do you want us for?
we can't be held responsible for any results, because what you do could tank everything, or or it could, shoot everything, through the roof in a really good way. Rarely does that happen. And I think that, most clients get that. And the ones who don't, I think that is a red flag, because one, there's no trust, right? If you want to be managing stuff yourself and turning stuff on and off yourself, there's obviously a trust issue. We have to be able to kind of discuss that. And should be communicating regularly when you've got a campaign going on what we see and what you see and how we can improve and change and edit.
Yeah, I think it's important to share stories like this though, because it's important to know how to have a healthy relationship both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Is
So
this agency therapy? Are we doing therapy?
It might
right
be.
now?
We might be. We'll have to charge more. No, it is good because it has to be healthy on both sides. There has to be trust on both sides. And same thing, if they're giving the client access to the account, they're trusting that client not to, delete everything and do their own stuff. So yeah, and also you could just
Why
turn
did you
off
delete
the
it?
old
Yeah,
ad.
I was just gonna say just
Right,
turn it off.
just turn them off and add your own and
Ugh.
turn those on, and then all it is then it's a 10-minute, if that, turning their stuff
Right.
off, turning your stuff back on. But you also screw up the algorithm though. You're going to reset back and have to build everything that you built again. Reminds me of clients who want to do Google ads, we want to do it for 3 weeks, and then we want to be off for 4 weeks, and then we want to be on for 4 weeks, and then we want to be off for a month. And it's that isn't how it works. It actually builds and ramps up, and when you shut it off, you lose at least half of the momentum that you had, and you've got to regain that. You're much better off finding a consistent budget that you can keep on, then up, down, up, down, up,
Yeah.
down. But that's a whole other issue. At least that's a conversation before we get into it versus
Before they
just deleting all of our stuff. It's like, oh, okay.
Implode it. Just like, ugh, what a nightmare.
I mean, also the ones where like, I don't know if this is in there anywhere, but where a client like deletes their own website and then like gets really mad. And it's like, well, yeah, we have backups and we'll restore it for you. But, like, don't mess with it if you don't know what you're doing.
On a Thursday.
That can be rough.
Cost you.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is like, we can do a lot of stuff and we've got a lot of safeguards in place, but if you want to be a super admin of your own site, just know that nuking it is something you could do, and if you do that, we'll have to like get it back up, and that'll cost.
And how long ago was Google Ads AdWords? Because I'd never heard of that before.
It's been a while.
Like literally, I've never heard of that.
Well, you're not, 400 years old.
Neither are we.
I was kind of curious.
July of 2018, Google AdWords was Google AdWords Ads and then became just Google Ads.
Google AdWords Ads. Well, thank you.
So 5 years ago, right? 2023 minus 2018 is 5?
Yeah.
Yep.
That maths.
That makes sense. And the last story, this is going to be the last one, by the way.
Zach was also 18.
I think I was 19. Wait. No, I was 20.
In 2018?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Oh, yeah, because there was a birthday thing.
That's
something,
right.
I don't know.
Yes, I remember this.
Yep.
Zach's kindergarten class was naughty.
My mom held me back in preschool, and then I was in my mom's kindergarten class.
Your mom was your kindergarten teacher, too?
Yeah.
So was mine.
Nice.
Was it you and your brothers all got held back, or just you? All three of you?
She used like her teacher, like knowledge.
Veto power.
Veto power. Well, like she like, I feel like she had like a good handle of like kids when they're that young, how they're gonna turn out. Just because she's like, well, she actually just recently retired just this year, but
your mom's a genius, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. But no, she didn't like the class above me, I was supposed to be in, so she held us back.
Interesting. So she didn't think you were going to get a good kindergarten education from who you were going into. So she held you.
Like the other students, like thought that they were going to be a bad influence. Not the teacher.
Interesting. Yeah. Got it. So she didn't want you to be bad boys. Bad boys, what you going to do?
Basically.
All right. That was really cheesy. Sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, I was like, not your best work.
I apologize.
The last story, though, is a little bit of a throwback. It's from 2008. And it's from the agency side again.
So for perspective, 2008 is when Facebook launched business pages. So that was the thing that happened that year.
Yeah.
When your business didn't have to have a personal profile, you could have your own business page. I'm sure other things happened in 2008, but I don't remember exactly what.
I mean, 2008, like Barack Obama was elected.
There was that. Yeah.
The other notable.
That was a big thing. He was elected in 2007. He started Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, he was elected in 2008.
No, he was elected in 2008. He started in 2009. Right.
It would have been also like the height of Michael Phelps' Olympics.
And it would have been
the genesis of Michael Phelps' greatness.
It would have also been.
It was also the mortgage crisis. 2008 was a wild year. You said, I don't know what else happened in 2008.
Well, I was thinking in marketing, not like politics and global economics and, bank fraud. But all right. So 2008, we're going back to 2008.
Yep. So a client requested a business plan and roadmap for a homegrown end-to-end e-commerce solution. Everything from a website with a secure shipping cart and checkout process to sourced, pick and pack, and fulfillment capabilities from multiple warehouses across the country that complemented their existing fulfillment capabilities. Note, this was around 2008, so this was no small feat. Multiple millions of dollars would have completely changed the complexion of our agency with just this one project. We spent months prepping, had an airtight solution that was reasonable budget-wise. My boss, who was fucking brilliant, put the entire proposal together using the legwork I'd done. Designed to be about a 2-hour conversation, ticked every box they had for us and then some. We were pumped. Day of the presentation comes, 4 of us and 8 clients, including VPs and the CMO and CTO of this Fortune 500 company. We got 2 pages into the discussion, maybe 3 minutes tops, and the CMO takes his hefty, spiral-bound leave behind, throws it down on the table at our team, and stands up. Well, guys, you really missed the mark here. Then he walked out of the room, leaving us all to stare at each other. Later that day, he made a call to our president requesting that my boss, who I will repeat to this day is one of the most brilliant minds I've ever worked with, never be allowed to work on this account again. We found out after the fact that somewhere between the original ask and the meeting, he decided and told nobody else that what he really wanted was a turnkey storefront where they just sell the product at wholesale and the vendor takes everything from there. Worst meeting ever.
Oh, so you set an expectation and changed the expectation and didn't tell anybody you changed it. And wow.
That one
was
pretty
That's
rough.
ouchy. That's
yeah,
so
I mean,
ouchy.
so since you've brought up e-commerce, for additional context, Shopify launched. Do you know when Shopify launched?
Probably like 2012.
No, 2006.
What?
Wow.
So what's really funny is the revised ask. We just want a place where we can sell stuff at face value, ship it out, and clients can deal with it. You know, we'll sell it at wholesale and blah, blah, blah. Totally a Shopify website. Could have been easy in 2008, even as basic as it was. Pop your products up, let your clients go buy them. You can put a password on it. You can lock stuff down. Yeah, wow. And how deflating to work on something that's that big for an existing client, you know, agency altering revenue coming in potentially. They really want it. They're committed to it. And then find out that they changed their mind before coming to the meeting. And like, I would wonder, so just putting on my client hat and clients I've dealt with, if that CMO came into the meeting still wanting the original scope, flipped toward the end of the presentation, saw the price tag, and made a decision in that moment to nix it.
Well, they said the entire conversation was supposed to be around 2 hours, and it only lasted 3 minutes. So he only got 3 minutes into the presentation.
He looked at the back page, saw the price, and then decided to pivot. Yeah. That's what I'm guessing. So that happens so often. I've sometimes left that piece off.
Way.
Yeah, where they're like, well, I don't want this. And you've got to, like, when you're that high up, it's like a saving face thing. So you've got to have somebody else who's your scapegoat. And so basically saying the agency completely missed the mark and not like, I mean, it's also possible that he changed his mind, didn't tell anybody, and they were all just as shocked as the agency was in that meeting. But I would think like his CTO would know, or
I mean, it says that all of them were staring at each other when he left the room, so I'm sure that includes all of the other like leaderships.
Yeah, it's possible. That's just like, that's so terrible.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
not
feel
great.
like I immediately go into like empathetic mom mode where I'm like, that boy was mean to you and you don't have to tolerate that kind of behavior. You should find a different job.
Well, imagine just putting like that much work into it just for it to like last 3 minutes and then basically like blows up in your face.
I had a client launch a whole bunch of expletives at me over the phone for something that I had nothing to do with. This was early in my career. This was only my second agency. And I hung up on him because I was like, but he was the owner of the business. And so it became like a thing, but luckily my boss stood up for me and said like, no, you don't have to. And like, this is exactly what he said. And she's like, oh my God, like, that's really awful. I'm like, yeah, right. And she's like, no, you don't have to listen to that. And I told him I'm going to hang up now. Like, it's not like I just slammed it down. But the CEO was like, our CEO was really mad. And I'm like, they're not even a huge client. Like, they weren't that big comparatively. And I just was like, no. And I said, and I'm not working with him. What ended up happening like 2 months later, that person got fired.
The yeller?
Yes, the yeller got fired, and the owner of the business ended up apologizing, and I worked on it again. But and then a couple years later,
they were lucky to have you.
I mean, I think so. I was cheap at the time. I was very, very cheap at the time. So, but yeah, like it's just there's things you can tolerate and things you can't, and that's one of those where that's a huge red flag. And either you ride those out and hope that CMO goes somewhere else. It's kind of like getting a bad boss and you've been there for 10 years and you're like, well, will I outlast this person or not? And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. And sometimes you're like, I don't want to outlast this person. Screw it. They're out.
And
you're done.
Straw. Yeah.
Oof.
But yeah, those are the 3 stories I found.
They're all very different.
Real uplifting episode today.
I know. I feel like
I need another Bloody Mary.
Well, we got happy hour in like an hour, right?
Yep. I mean, it was called horror stories. I think it's good to see like the worst of the worst to know that
Yeah.
It could be worse. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is plenty worse. Those are like really bad ones, but they could also happen at any time to almost anyone, like that same type of situation. Like the number of small businesses getting like, I'm trying to think of a good word for it, fleeced by some sort of like marketing like program.
Oh yeah, you get like the cold call email that's like, have you tried this new silver bullet to fix all of your problems? And then I get calls like, I want all of my problems to be fixed. That sounds great.
Yeah, I get all those calls. They come from a local number that's the recording that your Google listing isn't optimized and people can't find you and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, first of all, our Google listing is pretty darn optimized. So I don't think we have a problem there.
Yeah.
We actively manage that. Second of all, you're a scammer. So please don't scam me. Go away. Oh, I'm trying to find a way to like end this on an uplifting note. I mean, it was great to talk to you again, Zach. It was great to have you in front of the microphone again.
It's good to be here for sure. Sorry, I ruined the mood with those stories.
I gotta say too, like to have Zach be the buzzkill is really an outlier.
That is an outlier. He's normally the one organizing the
bringing all the chipper party people.
Wow. I didn't even know we were doing this topic, but it's useful. Like you said, Zach, it's helpful to hear what other people have been through. So hopefully you can recognize it sooner or not go through it or not deal with it.
It's good perspective for sure.
Next time I'll bring some wholesome stories.
Marketing wholesome stories, and we'll just have a glass of milk.
I would challenge you. We could do White Russians. I would challenge you. I know, vodka and milk.
So gross.
I would challenge you to find the best client, best agency stories out there. Find 3 of those and we'll see. So either this will become an episode or we'll have to call you out on the intro to an episode that you couldn't find them.
True. I'll get back
either
to you
way,
on that one.
It doesn't
either
exist.
way, it'll be fun to dive into that.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
To that. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Zach.
That's it for another episode of Cocktails, Tangents, and Answers.
We hope it was as much fun to listen to as it was to make.
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at RichMackey. I try not to make it too difficult. It's just my name. And you can find our agency at Antidote_71. That's ANTIDOTE_71 on Twitter and Instagram as well.
And you can find me at home sipping a craft cocktail prepared by my in-home bartender. It's my husband.
We'll be back with another episode every other week and a whole new cocktail recipe, plenty more tangents, and of course, answers to those pressing marketing questions.
And if you'd like to send us a question, you can go to ctapodcast.live to send us an email.
Or you can call our hotline at 402-718-9971 and leave us a voicemail. Your questions might be used for future episodes of the podcast.
For now, like and subscribe and tune in next time.